right now, folks, we're going to jump over to our man Steve Rhodes, as we do every Monday at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Time. You can check out Steve's outstanding newsletter, Mastering Probability, right under the newsletter tab, folks, at TFNN. You click that button. You can sign up for $149 for the month, folks. And don't forget, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and you get many great webinars in there as well. Steve Rhodes, good afternoon.
Hey, Tommy, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
Good to be with you. I heard you talking about the market starting to sell off just a little bit. I thought that what I could do is share with you at 12 noon when the Trader's Edge show was over. We were looking at the last request that came in was from Nicholas, who wanted to take a look at the NQ charts. And as I pulled up my assortment of NQ charts, multiple time frames, what I had noticed was that the 2-hour time frame, the chart in the very right-hand panel, was in the process of confirming a TD9 count top. That was right at 12 noon. You can see my cursor, you can see the hour right below. Now, what that meant was that we should see a top that formed between 12 noon and 2 p.m. because the part of this pattern, the high of the pattern, or the pattern itself, doesn't really complete until the bar following bar number 9. So what we have out here in the ES Mini, the NQ, and the Dow are those completed, confirmed TD9 count tops. So not a surprise to see the market pull back. So now's the next thing. Where's the market headed to? If I just first focus on the NQ, which is the upper right-hand chart, you'll see that price is pulled back to that green line. That's called the oscillator and change line. I have a workshop on that new subscribers would gain access to. It can be a real important level of support. So 22,358 is the number. We've gotten down to 23,360 out there. So that's a level to watch. If price were to close below that, then we have new profile levels below where price is at. This is new since this morning. And 23,308 would be a number, 23,277, and 23,245. Finally, the last piece would be coming all the way back to where price broke out from. The cool thing about the TD9 count patterns is that it provides us both an area where price is either broken out from or broken down from. In the case of the ES Mini, unlike the NQ, is already trading below that green oscillator and change line. So the ES Mini is telling us for the 2-hour time frame, it has lost its momentum. It will target, and it already has really, in essence, the low so far today, the low so far for this since 2 o'clock is 63.4875. The top of that profile is 63.4770. So that's already been tested and rejected. It's possible that the bottom is in for the ES Mini for its 2-hour time frame because a key level of support thus far is held. Kind of lines up with the NQ that we have there. On the Dow equity future contract, bottom left, we can see that price is also below its green oscillator and change line. That tells us it has lost its momentum, but its next level of support is down at between 44,491 and 44,510. So that may be where price is headed there. This is probably more so for overnight than it is for between now and the next 40 minutes out there. But of course, you never know. What I'd be watching for on the Russell 2000 is its close. And if it does close at below 22.4810, then it will actually trigger an A to B equals CD to the downside pattern. I would say its price target is in the 22.28 level to about 22.35. So just as an update to the end of my show, bleeding into your show and taking what the market was doing or selling off. Now we can actually just kind of follow up on that, which we've gotten. So those would be the levels that I would suggest that folks watch overnight if they are, whether they're traders or not out there. Hey, Tommy, any questions about that?
No, I love the analysis, man. It is pretty interesting, a little bit, not divergence, but you got the S&P and then you take on the NASDAQ. Russell, rolling Russell. I get the Russell futures, the only one in the red right now.
Yes.
But boy, we got some lofty prices in general, right, Steve? I mean, even on the pullbacks, I'm like, geez, any pullback, we haven't seen those prices outside of 4 or 5 days ago as this market creeps higher. So everything in context, a little bit of a pullback in a healthy market because just remarkable, the strength in this market as we come into some pretty important earnings, but it marches on. But great numbers. I like the exact details for sure.
Perfect. So let me just give folks, we talk about how the Mastering Probability newsletter, the daily newsletter comes out in the morning. The evening newsletter, the end of day, comes out 4 times a day. And this is important really just so folks understand the instruments that are actually covered. There's a lot of detail. So the newsletter futures that are covered in the morning, the ES Mini, the NQ, the Dow, the Russell, gold, silver, light sweet crude, natural gas, the 30-year and the 30-year Treasury, the 10-year note, wheat, soybeans, corn, coffee, sugar, and cocoa. All those are covered. Some of those covers our daily, weekly, and monthly time frames. I also cover the major currencies: the U.S. dollar index, the euro, the yen, the Great British pound, the Canadian loonie, the Swiss franc, and the Swedish krona. We also started off our day taking a look at what took place overnight. So we're taking a look at international indices, which will be the Shanghai, the Hang Seng, the Nikkei 225, the FTSE, and the DAX. And the DAX is really important because it's directionally correlated typically to the NASDAQ out there. Then I also a couple of other things that are included in the daily newsletter: Spot VIX Index. That's important because that can provide us with a guideline as to who has an edge, bulls or bears. And the same is true with the New York Stock Exchange Advanced Client Oscillator. Additional information that I provide subscribers with each morning is the Timer Digest signals. Now, Timer Digest went out of business during the COVID crash out there. So, I won the 2018 Timer of the Year. 2019, I missed it by 4 S&P points out there. And by the end of 2020, they had stopped. But they'd stopped publishing it, the results and just everything. But I still show those signals, those same signals this is automated. Which is what I used for that Timer Digest newsletter. And that covers the S&P or the ES Mini, gold, and here the gold contract and the 30-year Treasury. Those are the 3 areas that they were focused on. So subscribers get that. That's really important because it helps you understand key levels of support or resistance. I also provide the TAS market profiles for the daily, weekly, and monthly time frame for every instrument inside of the S&P 500, the sectors, I should say, inside the S&P 500, the index ETFs, the SPY, Qs, diamonds, IWM, what most people are trading out there, and then the top 10 stocks inside the NDX 100. This itself is just worth the subscription itself, so you know where support and resistance is from a daily, weekly, and a monthly time frame. I also provide this quick guide for popular instruments. It helps us understand where TD9 count support is, where its oscillator and change line, either support or resistance, top and bottom signals out there. Covers a ton of instruments. All the top 10 stocks for the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Dow are covered in this guide as well. And then in the evening, we haven't even got to the evening stuff. Then I'm covering charts for the SPYs, Qs, diamonds, all the S&P 500 sectors. I also throw in the SMH out there. Cash indices are covered, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, Russell. So there's a ton of information. And then you get these end-of-day tables. This is an example of an end-of-day table that I provide. I provide 2 different wealth portfolios. So for folks that are new or just trying to create their 401ks or RAs or what have you, this would be basically a breakdown between an allocation that you would put, depending on age and so forth, that you'd have for U.S. equities, foreign equities, fixed income, real estate. And this helps you to understand what the current outlook is. So, for example, for Berkshire Hathaway, it's a consolidated bull market. The weekly time frame, the bull is over is what it says. And on the monthly time frame, it's a consolidating bull. This helps subscribers to understand what's going on with these instruments and really to kind of create and help manage a larger portfolio. I didn't get to the other stuff just yet. Apparently I talked too much. Sorry about that.
Hey, you got too much going on in your newsletter. I say it in a great way, man. You put out an outstanding newsletter, man. Thanks for going through that. And as he was doing it, see, I got your webinars up here. So you get all that, folks. You get morning updates, afternoon. You get his lineup of webinars. Okay, you're talking about the TD9 count. You're talking about overcoming fear. You're talking about how to spot the next bear market. Ultimately, it goes on and on. The oscillator on change. Check it out under that newsletter tab. Steve, thanks so much, man. We look forward to the show tomorrow.
Tommy. Take care.
Have a great one. We'll be right back, folks.